Actually has been one of the most requested multi-tool reviews of the last couple of months. Now this model, which is made by Daicamping, it's the DL1, it doesn't have any equivalency yet in the American market. You have to buy it from AliExpress, but since we have it, let's go ahead and take a look at it. We can go over some of the materials and everything else and see if it compares to the other clones that are available. Let's go ahead and get started. Why this particular version is of interest is that they have put a set of tools together in this one that people have been requesting for the Leatherman Wave for a long time. So this is not a one-to-one comparison. It actually has a different tool set than you will find. So if you go to something like the Byberry, which you can find on Amazon, that is pretty similar in tool set to the Wave as more of a Wave clone. This tool set doesn't actually exist, which is why I think it's particularly relevant. So we do have two blades like you do on the Wave. Now this one came pretty tight and that can be easily adjusted. The lockup seems to be good though, which is great. It has a straight blade and it has a fully serrated blade like many of the other Wave clones. Now there's a bit of a difference here, and I'm glad I read through some of the information on the AliExpress posting. The blade for the straight blade is a different steel than the rest of the tool. So the rest of the tool is basically a combination of 2 and 3 CR. But this blade is a 7C17, I think is how they say it, which is a much better steel than the rest of the components on the multi-tool. So you're going to have a much better edge retention, higher hardness, that kind of thing. So we have, of course, the two blades, and then the last two tools on the outside, we have the ultra aggressive saw. Actually, wow. Is it me or did they make these teeth even longer? That's very, very aggressive. And wow. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing to test if we ever do a saw test, which we probably should at some point. And the other thing that's on the opposite side is a very large pair of scissors. Now, I haven't yet tested this. Let's go ahead and just run it up against the survivor cord. It's just a good test of edge stability, whether the blades will flex. I kind of can use this to kind of get a good picture of how well the blades are designed. Now, it does look a little thin, so I have my concerns, but clearly not an issue. Well, how about at the tip? Can it do it? It can. Okay, I did not expect that. You know what's unfortunate, for me at least, is that it seems like from a design perspective, they actually, I hate to say this, they cut better than most Leatherman scissors. The only thing is though, because they're using a 3CR, the Wave scissors, the Surge scissors, they're going to hold an edge far, far longer. So they're going to end up being better overall, even though they never have particularly good cutting performance. But damn, that is excellent cutting geometry on these. And there doesn't seem to be enough flex to prevent that from happening. Maybe because the geometry is set up for the thickness. We should do a comparison in the near future where I show you just how much better many of these scissors are. They're not going to beat the 91mm Victorinox, that's for sure. But that is incredible performance. The fact that it can cut at the tip means that there's not enough flex in the steel to cause them to split and have the fibers go in between. And that pretty much tells me everything I need to know. Really nicely done. What just flew out of there? Okay. So let's check to make sure that this actually works. I think it might have just been loose. Let's take a look. Yeah, I think it was just loose in the packaging. But we have a full hex bit driver. And this is one of the things that you get with these I really, really like. And yeah, they, with a magnet, by the way, will work with the Weha double-sided bits. So these do not have the ball detent. You can get ball detent bits from Klein that will fit directly without any help, but for these you're going to need to install a small 1/4-inch magnet, and then they will actually work great. So something you can do if you want to, it's very simple. You literally just drop it in, and there's enough metal to keep it from ever coming out with the bits, which is great. So you can do that. That's true with pretty much all of the clones. I've said it a bunch, but once again, there you go. And this kit actually comes with 3 additional double-sided bits, all of them ball detent capable. So they all have the ability to work perfectly with this tool set, and that's really appreciated. It also comes with a set of spare cutters. Now, I'm not sure what these spacers are for. Interesting. I have to play around and see what the deal is with that. Let's go ahead and continue looking at the tool, and then we'll come back to it at the end. So this does, as you would expect, have replaceable cutters. Does not lock up by accident. There's no play. That's good. I can feel the teeth hitting each other. Obviously, it's covered in lubrication to keep it from getting rusty in transit. I can see the grease coming out of there. That's not a bad thing either. That's true even with any of the top brands. You'll see that as well. Good. This one came perfectly fine. It could use a little bit more tension right here. Like, it goes out that far, and obviously we can do it just fine, but I wouldn't mind it a little bit more tension in this arm. Not sure how we could do that. Maybe bend that spring back a little bit, but more than, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. All right, and then let's go to the other side. And this is where things get a little bit different. Like, we saw that the outside, they don't have the diamond file. Now, my experience with diamond files on these clones, still call them clones, is that they are the weak point. They're probably the least well-formed of the items. Now, some of them are better than others, like the ones we're going to bring in. Like the SwissTech had really good diamond file. The Ozark Trail, they've really improved on that as well. But that's not a bad thing to knock out, because files, they're kind of hit, you know, they're kind of hit and miss. I've even had bad ones from Leatherman and other brands. And so, you know, a lot of times you need the file to work on tools themselves, and a specific type of file is needed. So it's probably not the worst item to get rid of, in my opinion. Now, this has 4 additional implements. It has a larger flathead, a reamer awl, which I really, really like. Actually, very, very sharp. Holy moly, that is... I don't know if it's going to always be that way, but just be careful when you open these. That is seriously sharp. And we have the can opener, also a nice edge on that one. Real nice 90, not 90, but chisel ground there. Sharp all the way out to the tip. The small flathead, I would use that for a pokey bit. You know, I wouldn't necessarily depend on that as a small flathead. The softness of these are around 53 HRC, which is pretty low, in my opinion. Now, this also has a U-shaped wire cutter. Now, that looks bigger, unless I'm just going crazy, than past generations from other tools. Am I crazy on this? No, I am not crazy. They have made it bigger. Yeah, that's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing. So I like that improvement. That is an improvement. Very nice. Also looks like they made the cutout for the finger a little bit deeper. Also a good thing. So far, so good. Why am I comparing them directly like that? Because I'm fairly sure that whoever OEMs both of these tools is the exact same person. I mean, the tools are just far too similar. There's too many similar components, if not identical components, in these tools. So there you go. They also, in these models, they've cut out sections for weight savings. I do appreciate that. Let me actually check this, because the other ones are, I mean, they're definitely heavier than the Wave. So we're in, I believe, cannot see it, ounces. So it's in ounces, 9.1. So it didn't seem to change the weight much. I think this is exactly the same, or maybe 9.1. No, oh, okay, wait a second. 9.6 versus 9.1. I mean, I guess that is a pretty, that is a worthy difference, I guess. So there was clearly some savings in weight by cutting out those pieces of metal. Now, I can't really get my finger on those teeth, but it may, you know, interesting how those teeth are kind of shown. It actually looks kind of cool. I'm not seeing any issues with accidentally catching them, so that's a good thing. All right, so far so good. So basically what we're getting is a pretty complete package here, and I actually really like the tool set. The reamer awl is a nice addition, and the outside accessible scissors are actually really awesome. Now, I think from a tool set perspective, maybe not ease of access, because the Multiforce is probably a little bit easier for a lot of people as it's a Walmart brand. I think that the scissors in the SwissTech variants are probably a little bit better, or the best of this variety. And these perform incredibly well as well, with absolutely no issue on these. I say that as I don't fully cut them. There we go. And then at the tip, let's see, should almost do it. It's not as good as the longer scissors. So plenty good on in the strong part of scissor, no problem. But it's not going to be as good as the one on this DL1. So good to know. The advantage I have with these, the thing that I really like about these two variants in comparison to this one, and why I kind of lean towards recommending these over something like this, is twofold. It might seem like a great idea to have the replaceable cutters. The thing is I use pliers more than I use cutters. So I want to have as much metal there as possible to improve the strength. That's the first thing. The second thing is, you'll notice, look, the outside accessible tools by the plier pivot here, it's on the opposite side with both the Multiforce and the SwissTech. This is not a true wave clone, because they have moved all of the outside accessible tools to the opposite side, getting rid of the opportunity to get that hand pinch that is, well, sucky. So I really like being able to recommend these, in large part because it is a better user experience. If you don't have that pinch, or the first time you get it with something like this, you might not carry it again. That's true with the Wave, by the way. It's true with a lot of Gerber MP600s. It's true with the Surge. I mean, it's true with a lot of multi-tools. Not so much with these. It's not true with the Victorinox Spirit. Yeah, I really like that. I think it's a good user experience. From a value perspective, it's good. The fact that it comes with a spare set of cutters and extra bits is really nice, and it has an included pocket clip. From a direct comparison, unfortunately, I don't have it with me right now. I would say the Byberry on Amazon is still a really good competitor, but has the other tool set, right? So you have, instead of the outside accessible scissor, you have a diamond file, and on the inside, instead of the reamer awl, you have the scissor. So you pick which one makes the most sense to you. The price point, though, all of these tools are under $50, every single one of them. I think this came out to be just under 40, in fact, for the sheath it comes with, the spare bits, the tool, and the replaceable cutters. I mean, they're getting really good. What do you want from me? As much as I want to bitch and moan about the steel that they choose, everyone I've talked to who's been using and abusing these, in part to see how far they can push it, have been really pleased that they've held up. That's kind of impressive. I think the fact that they've made the straight blade have a better steel with the 7CR is a good choice. Would I like to see better steel in the rest? Absolutely. But I don't know if the consumer cares enough to justify it. So I'm not sure they're wrong in using that 3CR. Not that I don't want them to use a 420HC equivalent and make it maybe a little bit more expensive, but maybe they won't sell it at that price point. Maybe the people who are interested in these multi-tools don't care enough. And if you make the straight blade have a better steel, maybe that is good enough. I don't know. You let me know down in the comments. Would you pay, I don't know, $10 more, $15 more to have better steel in the same thing, the same capability, just better steel, higher heat treatment up to like 58 HRC, you know, kind of like the Wave? Would you pay more? It's going to make them closer in equivalency. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm impressed. I think it's good. And before anyone mentions it, because I've been reading the comments and I do appreciate it, I did see they are now making a surge equivalency with a T-shank exchanger. So I've already ordered it. Don't worry. When I get it in, I will review that one as well. It's the DL30. I'll show you a picture right here. That is going to be a very interesting video. I don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, thanks again for your time. This is the DL1. I mean, as far as clones are concerned, it's solid. It's fine. Sub $40. Pretty decent tool set. Great kick around tool. And honestly, being a little bit lighter, you know, maybe it's the right tool for the job.